things that like even like with Wyatt and stuff. Like I'm like, if you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And then,
yeah. So anyway, we are live. Who's ready to get toasted with toast? Make high picks, get high ROI. That was so funny. Like that. Yesterday, that was funny.
yeah, it was.
So, good morning to everyone. We had a solid night last night. You know what really pisses me off is the
Reds winning again. I know you didn't bet against them. I
did. I had Baltimore -1.5, but it was one of my smallest bets.
My bad.
The one that really got me was the Giants, because I said on the show, I'm a huge sucker for this bet. I'm walking into a trap. Give me the Giants. I said those words and then still did it. And then when Logan Webb gave up like 4 or 5 in the first inning, I was like, I freaking knew it, man. I freaking knew it. Definitely a little frustrating.
How about those bad guys, though, huh?
That was awesome. That was awesome. And when they were down, I was kind of kicking myself because I was like, you know what? I said that the odds makers expected the Cardinals to score runs. I should have just stuck to the over, but Houston came back and Altuve, that 3-run homer, and then Abreu, a homer right after that. That was awesome. No, Lauren BB, I knew you were joking. I was saying that in a funny way. I thought it was funny. And I'm sorry, Jay. So Jay double booked himself. He didn't realize I think he committed to 2 live shows at the same time. He let me know a few hours ago. We'll get him on here soon. All right. Only 12 games to go through. Oh, whoops. Only 12 games to go through today. Not a ton of value. Thursday's always a little rough, but there are some bets I like. So let's get started. Padres at Pirates. I'm sticking to my guns on this. I'm sticking to where I was last night. I'm going first 5 under 4.5. It's at +100. You also can get it at 5 around -125 on some books. But I'm going to play the first 5 under 4.5. So obviously I feel like I don't even need to go through how dominant Joe Musgrove's been. But I will briefly. In his last 6 starts, 5-0 with a 1.98 ERA, a 2.62 FIP. This dude has been one of the most dominant starting pitchers in baseball over the last month. And it's not like it's Michael Wacha where you're like, maybe there's a little bit of a fluke involved here. And it was an unnecessary shot at Wacha. But the point is, we know Joe Musgrove is capable of pitching like this. It's not weird. I fully expect him to continue his dominance here. Against a Pirates lineup that, look, I'm calling bullshit on the Pirates bats on the last 2 days. They got to that one dude who pitched instead of Darvish. I don't even remember his name. His name's not worth remembering. They got to that dude. And then yesterday they got to Snell, and they deserve some credit.
Whoa.
No. I'm sorry.
Get to Snell.
They didn't get to Snell. You're right. Snell only let up 2. You're right. And then yesterday, Snell was able to pitch a good game to him, and they got to the Padres bullpen. I'm still, the numbers from the last month, the last 2 weeks, whatever kind of metrics you want to look at, this Pirates lineup isn't good. And I'm calling bullshit on that. I think there's a good chance the Pirates have 1 or less runs after 5 innings today. And then on the other side, Louis Ortiz. This is where I think makes this bet a little sharper than it looks. I kind of think Louis Ortiz is discovering himself a bit. The last 2 starts both look nice, and I called him out. I bet the Marlins in his last start, and I was like, Louis Ortiz is going to get rocked here and blah, blah, blah. Talk some shit about him. He threw 8 innings in that game. He pitched a gem in Miami. And then if you add on the fact that Padres, I actually sent this graphic in the private chat last night. Padres against right-handed starters. The last 4 righty starters, let's say, to pitch against the Padres. Josiah Gray, 5 1/3 scoreless. Sean Jelly, he was the primary pitcher, 4 shutout. DeSclafani, 5 innings, 3 runs. They got to him a little bit. Keaton Wynn, who's pitching today, 5 innings, 1 run. So I don't trust this Padres lineup against right-handed pitching right now. First 5 under 4.5 +100.
Yesterday sucked for me because I had the Padres. It is what it is, but the only reason that I was so quick to the gun on that Blake Snell comment was because there's a lot of box score watchers that assume that. And just for the record, in June, Blake Snell leads the league in every single major category. Strikeout to walk ratio, FWAR, BBA, FIP, WHIP, ERA, doesn't matter. Blake Snell is absolutely shoving right now. Joe Musgrove's really not behind him. The Padres bats, you can talk about their splits, you can talk about who they have or what have you. The fact of the matter is that they don't hit clutch situations. They don't hit with men in scoring position. They don't hit with men on base. They don't go first or third. They don't do all the little things that you would expect a Major League Baseball team, the good ones, to do. A la the Arizona Diamondbacks, Tampa Bay Rays, all those guys take bases and stuff like that. The San Diego Padres don't do that. All that said, I'm on the Padres -1.5. If I lose it again, it is what it is. But I'll take my chances with Musgrove, who's been absolutely shoving lately. Ortiz has been pretty damn good. I'll give him that against Miami, Milwaukee, and a Chicago team and a St. Louis team that I'm not really sure. I don't know. It just doesn't do a lot for me. He's pitched really well. There's no question about that. But at the same time, these Pirates bats have been kind of dead. I think they've gotten kind of lucky the last 2 days in the situations that happened. It's kind of been a snowball effect for them. And they capitalized, and good for them doing that. But Padres have everybody available, and they need in their bullpen as well. Musgrove should shove just like Snell did yesterday. If the Padres bullpen doesn't give it up, I assume the Padres will be able to score a few runs today. So I'm taking the Padres -1.5.
Yeah, I almost got there myself. I like the Padres. It's just the bats scare me. What I almost ended up doing instead of the first 5 under was just the Pittsburgh team total under, because I think the way you cover that bet is like a 5-1 Padres win type of look. But who knows? The way that series has started, who the fuck knows? Let's move on to the next one. Detroit at Texas. So weird line movement in this one. So let me blow this up. So this graphic right here stops at 9 a.m. But actually it's all the way down to like Texas -170. Let me check what the current line is. -167, the consensus line. That means it's even lower than that on some books. So this line has dropped 60 cents towards the Tigers. Well, 60 cents in the favorite odds. This line has significantly moved towards the Tigers in the last 3 hours. No pitching changes that I could see. I don't see anything that changed baseball-wise. Just a ton of sharp money came in on the Tigers, and the books reacted to it. I'm not biting. I'm not going to take the Tigers. I'll just say Texas or pass. I've been saying this whole time I don't like this series. I don't want anything to do with it.
Same here. I have nothing to do with Olsen and Bradford. If you made me gun to my head, I would play under 9. But just
I'll
because
say under or pass.
Yeah, just because of the line movement, maybe it's just I don't know. I think anybody's guess is as good as mine on that one, to be dead honest with you. Someone
asked, commented on the video last night, and they weren't being a dick or anything. They're like, why did you pass on the Texas game? Like they're killing it. Like, well, because they're 9-11 in their last 20, and they're getting priced like they're 18-2 in the last 20. That's why. I mean, I'm sure Texas will come back. They're a good team, but they haven't been playing like one of the best teams in the AL recently.
Yeah.
Like I don't have the ROI numbers in front of me, but I'm sure if you've played Texas money line the last 3 weeks, you've been taking a bath. They're under 500.
Well,
I mean, the reason I said I'm sure and not like I'm positive is because they did have a series against Tampa in there. They had a series. I'm sure they were underdogs in a few spots because they had.
Yeah, but they're also super high favorites.
Exactly. Cleveland at Kansas City. I mean, you got. I don't care how square it is. I've been saying it the whole time. I'm going right back to Cleveland here. I'm laying the 1.5. I think Kansas City is awful. Let's see what the when I wrote this down, it was plus 105. So that was about an hour and a half ago about that. So Zach Greinke, his last 4 starts have been absolutely terrible. He's 0-3 with an ERA at 9, 5.68 FIP. Wheels have truly fallen off for Zach Greinke. Look, I know seeing the Guardians offense struggle against Brady Singer might scare you a bit. I'm chalking that one up to a fluke. And also, Brady Singer's been pitching well at home lately, so it might be a combination of Cleveland shit in the bed in the first game of the series and Brady Singer finding himself. We saw Brady Singer get hot at the end of last season, so it's not crazy to think that Brady Singer is about to go on a bit of a hot streak. They've been hitting righty starters, man. They scored 4 off Corbin Burns, 3 off Freddie Peralta, 4 off Paul Blackburn. This Cleveland team is scoring. I mean, shit, what did they score last night? 15? This Guardians offense is fine. Everyone can pump their brakes about that one fluke game where they won 2-1. And then Shane Bieber's pitching, and look, I don't exactly trust Shane Bieber much on the road. His home-away splits are, I don't want to say significant, but his ERA jumps from a 2.51 to a 4.58. Home to away, home runs per 9, FIP numbers also jump when you look at his road starts versus his home starts. That being said, Shane Bieber has owned the Kansas City Royals. I mean, he owns stock in this franchise. His last 8 starts against KC, this is dating back to 2020. He's got a 1.60 ERA, a 1.02 WHIP, a 2.33 FIP. He's been dominant against the Royals, and 5 of those last 8 starts where he has those dominant numbers, they were on the road in Kansas City. So it's kind of you could look at Shane Bieber's home away splits, like I just said, but you have to follow that up and be with like, okay, but in Kansas City he's still dominant. Not going to waste any more time talking about this game. Cleveland -1.5. Kansas City sucks.
Yeah, they do suck. I'm on the under 9. Everything that you said, I mean, obviously, it's not like I'm disagreeing, but I agree with, except the only thing that you didn't really say is that Greinke I understand that he hasn't looked well, but he's pitched well in this ballpark for 20 years now, it seems like, and against Cleveland in the last 5 times that he's faced them, all going back to 2021, he's going we'll just go through them. 6 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 0 runs, 5 2/3, 1 run, 5 innings, or 5 1/3, 2 runs. So it's not like Cleveland's hitting Zach Greinke very hard too. I understand that the Rays hit him hard. I understand that Angels hit him hard. They're 2 of the best hitting teams in the league, especially consistently. Understand Cleveland's bats can get to him. There's no question about that. But with the way that Beavers pitched and the way that Greinke's been able to get good looks at this Cleveland offense, I see under 9. And especially I also like playing unders after big scoring outbursts. I'm not trying to say that Cleveland's not going to score runs. I just don't think they're going to put up 14 by themselves today. Yeah. I don't know how many Kansas City's going to score, but I can't assume it's more than probably 2. So I'll take my chances with that under 9.
Yeah. Oh, so someone in the comments, this must have just been updated because I looked at this about an hour ago. So John Gray's no longer starting for the Rangers. It's Cody Bradford. That would explain the line movement. When I woke up this morning, maybe like 2 hours ago, and I saw the line movement, I looked, and it still said John Gray. So that had to have updated.
Bradford's a lefty, right?
Shit. I don't know.
It's all right. It don't matter. But yeah, I'm almost positive. Yeah.
Cody Bradford, have it right here. Cody Bradford is a lefty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still not betting Detroit there. What's with everyone that just gets in fights in the comments? Like, what the hell?
I don't know. I never have them on.
Like, people just come in here and, like, fight with each other. I don't know. They're, like, calling each other fat or something. It's mad weird. Yankees at A's. I don't know, man. Let's just put under 8.5 on the screen. Look, I'm not going to let last night's offensive outburst from the Yankees distract us from what they've showed us over the last month. It's Schmitty Day, so I like Clark Schmidt to pitch well. It certainly should pitch well against Oakland, team who's got some awful looking numbers against righties over the last month. Look, I know JP Sears is a lefty and the Yanks got to him, and maybe that's a sign. But James Kapp, I don't know. I like James Kapp, and I have a soft spot in my heart for James Kapp. I don't trust this Yankees lineup at all. So just under 8.5. It's probably everyone's betting the under. Don't really know what to make of this game.
Yeah, I'm same way here. I don't really know. I mean, I can honestly see like the Yankees having themselves a nice little night last night and coming out here slow, playing with the under. I can also see them using that last night as a little bit of a springboard. And maybe that's what they needed without Judge, and maybe they go on like a nice little bit of a run and the bats get going. I don't know. I'd rather watch this game and see what I can find out about this team. We already know what Oakland is. What we don't know is what this Yankees team is without Aaron Judge. I mean, I understand that they're not hitting, but can they actually get hot without him, or is it just going to be this pit of misery this whole time? A night like last night is a really good way for them to change things out. So I'm going to watch this game with actually pretty big eyes wide open, but I would lean under. I'm seeing 8s on the board now, so if it was 8.5, it's gone to 8 now. So maybe like a first 5 under would probably be my favorite look, but I personally didn't bet it.
Someone said Schmitty sucks. Nah, Schmitty's my boy.
He's gotten a lot better. You got to give him a lot of credit.
He's had some good performances in there.
Yeah, from what he was earlier in the year, he's gotten himself a lot better, and it's not easy to do that as a Yankee.
Yeah. Rays at D-backs, and you know what sucks is I love every single aspect of this game for Arizona except the one huge one. So let's put
starting pitching.
No, I like Fott.
Oh.
So I'm actually Arizona first 5 money line to -115. And you know what? I'll put the full game money line also on there. But don't be fooled. Just because I put 2 bets up, this doesn't mean like I'm in love with the game. I just like both angles. All right. So the reason I like Brandon Pfaadt, there's this weird pattern forming in Major League Baseball, and maybe this isn't new, but it seemed like it happened last year a little bit too, where a guy goes down to the minor leagues for about a month and comes back up and somehow pitches really well at his first start or 2 back. We just saw it with David Peterson in the Mets, and we've seen it several times, and it happened last year a few times too. I don't know if that's a thing. Toast could probably shed some light. Is that something that happens?
It's a little bit, yeah. So Rangers had a guy like 3 years ago, AJ Alexi, that came up and had like 7 starts after going down. So yeah, there's plenty of evidence.
We've seen it this year a few times. I should have wrote down the names because I can't think of them off the top of my head, but there was a couple times where a guy went down to the minors, came back and pitched great. At least in his first start or 2, and that's exactly what I'm looking at here for Brandon Pfaadt. Went down to the minors for a month, comes back here. I think he can pitch okay. This guy, Chirinos, got rocked in his last 2 appearances. On the road in Arizona is not an easy spot to pitch. I think he's the primary pitcher. If I think Tampa Bay's starting someone else and then bringing Chirinos in, the way they manage their starting pitch. And the Giants are starting to do that too. It's a little bit confusing, but we should expect to see Chirinos to pitch 4 to 6 innings, somewhere in there, probably closer to 4. And I expect the Arizona bats to get to him. Like I said, he's been rocked in his last 2 appearances. And Arizona at home has been a dangerous lineup all season. But here's the kicker. Arizona would be one of my favorite bets of the day today if it wasn't for their bullpen, because they're most likely going to be missing Miguel Castro and Scott McGough. Is it McGough or McGough?
I'd have to look.
I think it's McGough. So they're most likely going to be missing their 2 most important arms in the bullpen, Miguel Castro, Scott McGough. That's what crushes this for me, because I would love Arizona with Brandon Pfaadt on the mound with that terrible ERA. You know, a lot of people are looking at and thinking, oh my God, Tampa and their record, I'm taking them. I think we're getting a generous price, except for the bullpen. So that's why, if you want to play it's a little bit safer, maybe Arizona first 5 on the money line. I like them to win the game. It's just the bullpen terrifies me.
I love the Rays here. I couldn't agree with you. I couldn't disagree with you anymore. I'm on the Rays first 5. I'm on the Rays full game. I really think after last night in that 9th inning, they come back. I really want to play on them here today. Don't really worry about Chirinos in the bullpen. I'll give you that Fat probably might be able to pitch well, but I think this is a momentum thing. I think that if they can get to Fott, I don't know where Arizona goes in the bullpen. That's going to give them an advantage in this game. And then, like you said, they don't have their closer or their nice setup man. So I'll take my chances with this Rays team. I understand that I don't really like playing them, or none of us really like playing them on the road compared to home. And I actually haven't even, I took this team to win the AL East, got a little heat for it, and then never really bet this team. So it feels weird betting them like this, but like I do really like them here today. I think they should be able to get to Fott.
I just put up a poll seeing what everyone thinks, because I didn't know we were going to be that. We were complete opposite sides here. And so far, it looks like after 40 votes, you're winning 59 to 41%. I wish we really don't know where the action's going to be on this one, because the line just opened a couple hours ago, so we really don't have no gauge.
I was just about to say.
I don't even know what side's going to be the public side. I would probably guess that maybe Tampa would be the more public side, but I really don't know at this point.
If it's in that like 50-50 range, or not even 50, like 45, 60, or whatever. Like, it kind of depends on where the money is too, on which side the books really need. I mean, you don't really know where the big bets are.
It looks like you're winning the poll 66-34 in favor. So about 2/3 of the crowd thinks Tampa. About 1/3 is with me on Arizona. But there's not a ton of people in here. There's only like 80 votes in that. So let's move on to the next game.
They don't like you. It's okay. They're with me this morning. It's okay. It's your channel. You can take an L sometimes. You
guys can lose with Toast, or you can win with me. One of the two. You can win with me and the Snakes. White Sox and Angels. Hate the line movement here, but I'm sticking to my guns. I like the Angels. I like the first 5 run line a lot. Now it's at plus 110. So Angels first 5. I'm just gonna put my favorite bet on up here, but I also like the Angels to win the game. But the reason this is my favorite bet is this removes the aspect of the Angels bullpen, which is inexplicably struggling, because if you look at them on paper, that should be a good bullpen, and I imagine it will be moving forward. I just don't know how much I trust it. I like the spot for Patrick Sandoval, and I know everyone knows I'm a Patrick Sandoval apologist. His last 4 home starts have not been good. A 5.73 ERA. He's 0-3 in those 4 starts. But the White Sox just haven't been hitting lefties, and they've seen a bunch of them, too. I don't know if anyone's seen more left-handed starters in the last week and a half than the Chicago White Sox, and they're not really hitting any of them. We saw Reed Detmers, James Paxton, Andrew Heaney, and Martin Perez all pitch good, solid games against the White Sox, all within the last 8 or 9 days. Just 6 total earned runs allowed by those 4 guys combined against the White Sox. I really think it's the perfect spot at home for Sandoval to get a much-needed quality home start under his belt. He needs a good one, and I think he'll get it today. Look, Lance Lynn, you guys, I feel like you guys don't need me to show you anything on Lance Lynn. You know what it is. I mean, every once in a while, he'll show up and pitch a good game. If you think this is one of those spots for Lance, God bless you. I don't see it. So I think Lance is going to get rocked. Like I said, the only thing holding me back, well, actually, there's 2 things now. One, I'm a little worried about the Angels bullpen, and I kind of like the White Sox bullpen. I think it's underrated. So the second half of the game, I'm a little worried about. And the second thing is, look at this line movement here. Last night at 11 p.m., it was Angels minus 155. The consensus line is now down to Angels minus 130. So it's moving in the wrong direction. But if you look, if you just look at the end, it looks like the money's on the Angels. But look where the money was at 11 p.m. And this is important because the money was on the Angels, 72%. Now it's down to 63%. So despite looking at the chart and being like, oh, the money's on the Angels, actually, since 11 p.m. last night, the books have actually taken White Sox money in. So, look, does that justify 25 cents of movement? No. But it eases the pain a bit. I'm on the Angels, first 5 in full game.
I'm on the Angels as well. I didn't play the first 5. I did just play the full game. Look, I'm gonna keep on betting against this White Sox team until they give me a reason not to. I was on the Angels last night. I took an L. I'm not as concerned with the bullpen as Kyle is. I understand that their numbers aren't as well and they haven't been performing as well, but there's also a lot of use there. But Estevez, Davinsky, Soriano, Webb, all those guys had the day off yesterday, so they should be fresh and ready to go. I think Angels got embarrassed yesterday at home. They have multiple guys in this lineup that have seen Lance Lynn really well. I mean, Luis Renfrigo, not Max Stassi, Taylor Ward, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, all those guys have really good numbers against Lance Lynn. They've already seen him once this year as well, so that makes me like it just a little bit even more. Kyle talked to you guys about Sandoval. I actually like him a lot too. I watched him in the WBC. I don't think that Seattle and Houston, those 2 division games where he got rocked, is indicative of who he is. It just kind of happens, and that's going to happen in a long season. So I'll take my chances at a really nice number with LA with a full bullpen. The Chicago bullpen's rested as well, but at the same time, they've also seen it. So I don't really worry about that. I'll take the hottest player on the planet, Shohei Ohtani, with a rested bullpen in those Angels right now at home.
I mean, I agree. I think that you're right about the Angels bullpen. I actually read an article on The Athletic about the Angels bullpen like 3 weeks ago. I think that should be a good bullpen, and it will. It's just the numbers just don't show it. But I added Angels money line to mine as well because I do like the Angels to win. But the reason I wrote that first 5 is because I think that at plus 110, straight up Sandoval versus Lance Lynn in LA, I like that. I think that's good value.
Yeah, I mean, that Angels bullpen, I mean, Estevez is probably an all-star. And then, I mean, like, Davinsky can be kind of like hit or miss at times, but he's their setup man for a reason. And then, like, Soriano, I mean, he's like a 40% K rate. It's like 38 or something like that. But, I mean, they've got some guys that can throw some heat and strike some guys out. It's just a matter of if they're going to pitch well or not.
One thing I will say about tonight is they're missing 2 of their long relievers. But, I mean, as long as Sandoval goes 4 innings, they should be fine. He should go deeper than that. Who's the guy?
I'm actually more comfortable that Tucker Davidson and Andrew Want aren't playing.
See, that's what you got to look out for, and I'm guilty of this all the time. I look on Fangraphs, I look at the team's bullpen numbers, and those can all be inflated by like one terrible long reliever appearance who doesn't even pitch often. And you could throw one guy comes in, pitches 3 innings, gives up 8 runs one game, and it makes it look like a bullpen struggling for 2 weeks. I hate that. It's something I got to pay better attention to. I'm actually trying to work on some things that and adds like a way to analyze a team's bullpen situation based on a combination of the numbers and what arms are available. I was playing around in Google spreadsheets last night trying to figure it out.
If you want to really get into it, make me a spreadsheet that counts when the guys get up and get down too. I would really love that.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like a bullpen guy, if they get up to get warm, right? They're pitching, they go up to get warm, and then they're like, oh, we don't need you, and they sit down. And then they get up again maybe like 2 innings later, get warm, and then they sit down. And then they don't pitch that day, so you don't get any record of them pitching, but they really did pitch that day, so they're not going to be 100% the day afterwards. But we have, like, it's really hard to figure that out.
Right. No, it makes sense. Jawbone, yes, Chirinos is the primary pitcher, so what that means is Tampa Bay is going to start that guy for 1 inning and then bring Chirinos in the second. I was saying the Rays do that. The Giants have been doing that with that guy Walker. They'll have him pitch 1 inning and then they'll bring in like Alex Wood. So that's like a new thing. I'm sure there's an analytical reason for it. I don't really understand. I think it's just a way to try to get their quote unquote starter or primary pitcher into like the 6th because a guy like Alex Wood is going to be taken out in the 4th.
Well, let's just use Alex Wood as an example. If you're the Giants and you have Alex Wood, who's like that lefty, think about all the different arm slots that like the Blue Jays had to worry about the other night. You have up here, you got down here, you got up here, you got down here. I mean, so they're trying to keep your hitters off of balance as much as possible. So you're going to see that more than possible. That's why you have guys like these setup men and stuff that are getting into these roles where they play 1 or 2 innings or what have you. Teams are good with that. So it's just one of those things that I think that just like the shift and stuff, there's certain teams that are going to do that very well, just like Tampa did with all their bullpen arms and bullpen days. And then the league is going to have to adjust to that. But teams like the Giants and stuff like that who do that definitely have an advantage on some days.
No, it makes perfect sense. It's because that Giants-Blue Jays game, you have Walker, who kind of throws like a weird sidearm righty, and then they brought in Alex Wood in the 2nd inning, who has a unique delivery on the left side. So I completely get it. It makes sense.
And then you bring in a Rogers brother that has a on the opposite bottom. It's just, it's hard to pick up. There was a really Blue Jays hitter. You're like,
and I cast Giants bet of the day plus 165 that night. All right, Marlins at Red Sox. Another game where I hate the line movement. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm sticking with Boston. Can't stand the line movement here, though. It's terrible. So Boston money line, it's at minus 110. I think it's down to like a straight pick 'em. So last night, I think when I gave this out on the show last night, it was like minus 126 or something. So moves pretty significantly. Wait, did I skip a game? Oh, no, I didn't. Boston are here. All right, so Jesus Luzardo on the road is obviously a guy you can fade. I like Luzardo, but his road splits, you just can't argue with those numbers. He's got a 5.45 ERA, 151 WHIP. Now, his FIP and expected numbers indicate that like maybe he hasn't been quite that bad, but still, even if you take into account the expected numbers, there's still a drop-off in production in his starts on the road. And look, this is where it's a little concerning. The Red Sox seem to be entering a bit of a slump against lefties. 2.45 ER in the last 5 lefty starters to pitch against Boston. 2.45 ERA, a 1.16 whip, 1.16. Holy shit! I need another coffee. Wow. So Luzardo might even pitch well, but still on the other side, this is the reason for my bet. Brian Bayo or Bello. I was saying Bello, then I started saying Bayo. Still don't know. I've heard a bunch of people pronounce it differently. So in case you haven't heard of this kid, you should get to know him because he's on a warpath. His last 8 starts, 2.40 ERA, 2.68 WOBA, 3.34 FIP. One of the best, I mean, not one of the hottest pitchers in baseball, but like top 10, top 15. He's pitching that well. And I don't trust this Marlins lineup against righties. Sure, they crushed Garrett Whitlock last night, but if you look at the previous 4 righty starters to pitch against the Marlins before that, all 4 pitched good games. This isn't a lineup that scares me against righties. And also, I like the spot angle of it, and some people don't take a lot of stock in this, but you got the Marlins who just took the first 2 games of this series in Fenway comfortably, 2 comfortable wins. The Marlins got a big series against Atlanta starting tomorrow. They've already won this series. I think Boston needs this game a lot more than the Marlins do. They're not trying to get swept at home by the Fish, so I like Boston to win this.
Yeah, this is a super easy one for me. Didn't care about the line movement. It's Brian Bayo Day, baby. It is Brian Bayo Day. I'm the president of his fan club. I've been on this guy all year. Boston's 8-4, and he starts. Took a couple losses to the Red Hot Reds, Tampa Bay, but at the same time, I'm going to be continuing to bet on this kid until he gives me a reason not to shine. I mean, he's just fantastic over the last couple starts. 6 2/3 against the White Sox, only 1 run. 7 innings against the Yankees, only 1 run. Another 7 innings against the Yankees, only 2 runs. He's just really fantastic. It's surely a bet on him. Miami, I love them. It's really hard to make a bet against this team at this point because they're really well, but they used 5 guys from their bullpen yesterday. I think Puck only threw like 4 or 5 pitches, but at the same time, Boston just saw all those guys, and they're in a little bit of a slump right now, but Bello should be the guy to get them out of it at home, facing a sweep. Not that I put a whole bunch of stock into that, but knowing the fact that they've seen that Miami bullpen a ton and Luzardo's numbers on the road, more than happy to take my chances. Boston, first 5 on the run line and the money line.
Yeah, all right, cool. So you like the first 5 also. Yeah, both on Boston. Let's move on to the next one. And this one, I'm going to put Toronto on the screen, but I really don't know. This line just opened, so I wasn't able to look at it last night. I'll just put Toronto first 5 minus a half run at -110. Toronto money line at -145. But it'll be a really quick explanation for this. So I like Chris Bassett to bounce back. He had that terrible home start against, was it Oakland that he got rocked by? I think it was Oakland. But Chris Bassett's been dominant at home all year and then gets rocked by Oakland in his last home start. Just think it's a perfect spot for him to bounce back against this Giants lineup, who I think is pretty good. I really trust Bassett here. The primary pitcher for the Giants today looks like it's going to be Keaton Wynn, who actually pitched well in his. Oh no, I'm sorry. His last appearance was against Arizona. He got hit up a little bit. The appearance before that was against the Padres, and he pitched well. I think the Blue Jays get to this dude. That's why I like the Blue Jays to be ahead after 5 innings and to win the game. -145 isn't the juiciest price, though. So the Blue Jays do have their main 3 bullpen arms available. Missing a couple long relievers, but who cares? I like Toronto. I don't love it.
Yeah, I don't really have much in this game. I didn't really look much. I was trying to look at Jock Peterson props, but I haven't seen a lineup yet to make sure that he's actually in the lineup. So until that happens, but Jock Peterson's 4 for 6 off of him with 2 homers and 5 RBI. So I'm looking to play Jock somehow, some way. But besides that, I don't really want to get involved.
All right, let's move on to the next one. It's tough when the line opens an hour before you go live.
Yeah, I can't really give out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Yeah. Brewers at Mets. Speaking of can't give out something with confidence.
I'm confident.
Yeah. All right, why don't you go first then?
Oh, I'm playing the Mets on the run line. If
Me
they
too.
get beat
Me
again,
too.
it is what it is. But
Me too.
I surely expect Max Scherzer to continue to shove. Especially the fact that he got lit up by this team earlier in the year makes me want to face them, or makes me want to play them even more. So I'll take my chances. Look, the bats have been fine. I think Senga was fine yesterday. He got into trouble a little bit early, but if the bats would have showed up, it would have been a different ball game for the Mets. So again, I'll take my chances with Scherzer pissed off at home, where again, the last time he was at home, he also got lit up against the Yankees. So a little bit of double revenge there if you like playing those angles. I don't really care about him. I think that he's still a decent pitcher. I mean, he's 7-2 on the year. It's not like he's getting throttled every time he goes out there. So I'll take my chances. Mets -1.5 at +105.
Yeah, to add on to a couple things he said. So, yeah, not only did Milwaukee hit up Scherzer his last time, but just to add on to that angle, Milwaukee is a team that Scherzer owns. His previous 6 starts against the Brewers before the last one, he's got a 1.54 ERA and a 0.77 WHIP. So he owns this team, and they got to him once. Scherzer's crazy ass wants revenge. That dude's nuts. Obviously, Brewers bats poor numbers against right-handed pitching recently. I don't have to go through that. But there's a couple notes in from Prop Beaver on this one that are cool. So Adrian Hauser's on the mound. He's still pitching, right? Let me just make sure, because the MLB, the MLB is officially worse than the NBA with these injuries. Let me just make sure Hauser's still pitching. He is.
That is an asinine statement.
No, I meant with you don't know who's pitching every single day.
Yeah, that's still an asinine statement. None of these guys just take off because.
Well, the argument is that coaches are the ones, because they have analysts telling them that they're more less likely to get hurt. I blame the fans for that, because no one watches if the star players aren't in. So obviously they're going to be like, shit, we don't make any money if the star players aren't in. So we better do whatever we can to make sure they are in for the games that count. But anyway, that's a different conversation.
True.
So Adrian, excuse me, Adrian Hauser, right? So first of all, he struggles against left-handed bats, 358 WOBA, 168 WHIP, 580 expected FIP. So he struggles against the lefties. Mets are starting probably 4 or 5 lefties. But if you look at it even deeper, this one comes from Prop Beaver. This is cool. So Hauser's main pitch is his sinker. He throws the sinker just under 50% of his pitches. Against sinkers in the last 30 days, against sinkers from righties in the last 30 days, Mets are first in isolated power. They have been jacking sinkers from right-handed pitching, so that's cool. And his Adrian Hauser's only start in Citi Field last year, he got hit up bad. 4 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs. So yeah, I'm on the Mets here. I think Scherzer can go 7. I think Scherzer's going to pitch a good game. No, Prop Beaver's not here. He asked if Prop Beaver's here to defend himself. He's not. Prop Beaver won't be here for a couple hours.
I also played Mets Padres money line, just so you guys know.
Parlay?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Everybody asked me for a parlay. So.
I didn't post my ticket yet. I'm doing it right after the show. And I think I want to use the Mets money line in a parlay piece somewhere. I just haven't decided. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one is Houston at St. Louis. Kind of curious to hear where Toast is going to go for this one. But first, I will... You know what? Let Toast go first. I want to see where he goes.
Bad guys. Look, this isn't really like a fade of Adam Wainwright. Like, he's been really bad. Like, I get that. I get that he's been pretty bad. But he's also been really good against this Houston team in his career. Unfortunately, all that was in 2016 through 2012, way back then. So it's kind of literally impossible to put any stock into that. I just don't trust this St. Louis team yet. I really don't. I understand that they looked good for a couple stretches of the games. 2 games, I should say. They looked good for 2 games. I'm just not there with them yet. JP France is one of those guys that I think is going to continue to get better. He hasn't had the easiest schedule too. I mean, going back a few starts against the Angels, 7 innings, only giving up 1 run, and then he goes on the road to Cleveland, goes 6 2/3, gives up 3 runs. So, and then plays Cincinnati, which I still think that's a pretty damn good team. Goes 6 2/3, only gives up 2 runs, and then at the LA Dodgers, 6 innings, only gives up 3 runs. So if anything, this guy's consistent. I don't think he's going to get beat up pretty bad. The only team to really do that in his last 5 starts is Minnesota. It is what it is. Guys get hit up all the time. But I think that with that Houston's coming back yesterday and their bats really working. Jose Abreu's starting to become on a tear. Kyle Tucker's on a tear. Bregman didn't do much yesterday. I think he should be in there today. So I'll take my chances. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive too. I forgot to write it down, but Houston has, I'm pretty sure, everybody available that they would need to in their bullpen as well. So I really, really like the bad guys here today.
I don't disagree with you. Prop Beaver likes the Cardinals, actually. But I think my favorite bet would be Houston first 5 minus the half run, which is, again, at plus 105. There's a couple first 5 run lines that I'm getting at plus money here. This one and the, why am I drawing a blank? The one I just gave out before. Shit. Whatever. But I had 2 of them where I'm like, I love how all I have to do is go 1-1 and make a few dollars here. And I think they have a good chance of going 2-0. So this is a fade of Wainwright for me. He said, this isn't a fade of Wainwright. This is a fade of Wainwright.
I'm just saying that all I was making sure they knew is I didn't look at Wainwright fade. Like there was a little bit more into that than that's all.
See, you could point to the fact that the Astros have a righty-heavy lineup, and Wainwright, his splits are better against right-handed bats. His WOBA against lefties, 483. 344 against righties. So he's still not good against righties, but he is somewhat formidable against right-handed bats. And the Astros regularly start 8 righties in their lineup. So that's an angle you could play for Adam Wainwright. But the truth is, I don't know if that matters because the Astros lineup is heating up. Over the last 10 days, they're top 10 in everything against righties. We know how good this lineup's capable of being. I think they smack Wainwright around. I'm a little worried that the Cardinals bullpen has been producing lately. I mean, maybe not doesn't show last night or in this series particularly, but as a whole, I don't trust the Astros bullpen. That's why I'd stick to the first 5 run line. I'm also a little worried about JP France. That's why this will be a half unit bet for me. JP France has great looking numbers on the road, but I think the odds makers are they like the Cardinals bats and they think the Cardinals lineup is coming to life, and I don't disagree with them. That's why I took the Cardinals in the first game of the series. That's why I took the over last night. I'm scared of these Cardinals bats too.
I agree with you on the Cardinals bats full 100%. The only reason that I like that full game so much is because you're not going to have Gallegos. They've already seen Hicks once. Payante went 17 yesterday. So all those guys they've seen in the last couple of days, Gallegos won't be available. I just think there's a pretty big advantage. And the only time that they're going to use Hicks is if it's a super high leverage situation, if the game's tied or they have a lead. So you're not going to see him unless you're already behind. So that's when you said that, it just made me think of that even more. So sorry.
Yeah. The Astros bullpen definitely better rested. So I'll take the Astros first 5 on the run line. Yes, everyone's betting Houston here, but the line's dropping the right way. So I don't mind siding with the public if the line's moving the right way. So yeah, that's where I'm at this one. Let's move on.
Guy there's a couple guys and Stratton. There's a few guys that the Astros have seen out of their bullpen as well that have decent numbers off of, which you don't see a lot. So it's just another thing to point to the Astros.
I'm going back to the Cubbies here.
Yeah. Plus money? Hell yeah.
Let me see what it's at now. This is the Cubs and the Giants. I said it last night. Cubs and the Giants were the 2 bets that got me last night. Had a winning night, but if the Cubs and the Giants won, it would have been a absolute monster of a night. Going right back to them here. First of all, so yeah, we know Taijuan Walker's been electric, right? In his last 4 starts, he's been basically untouchable. 0.69 ERA, 2.56 FIP. He's been so good in his last 4 starts. All right, Kyle. Well, why are you fading him then? Well, let's take a look at those last 4 starts. 3 of them were at home. If you're familiar with Taijuan Walker, you know that you can bet on this guy regularly at home. He's a bet on pitcher at home, not so much on the road. He's much more vulnerable on the road. And out of those last 4 starts, only 1 road start, and it was at Oakland. And it was at Oakland. So this dude hasn't pitched a real road start since 5 games ago. In fact, if you disregard that start in Oakland, you want to know what Taijuan Walker's numbers are in his last. Hold on.
He did pitch well in Atlanta. I'll give him that. Hold
on. I have it written down somewhere. Okay, so in his previous 8 road starts to the Oakland, Taijuan Walker's got a 6.75 ERA, 5.72 FIP. So this dude, this is the ultimate sell high spot for Taijuan Walker here. And by the way, the Cubs lineup is hitting righties right now. In the last 14 days, they're 6 in WRC plus, 6 in OPS, 6 in WOBA. I think the Cubs are going to get to Walker, and I think we're getting a delicious looking price because of Walker's value right now on those last 4 starts. And by the way, Kyle Hendricks is pitching his ass off right now. His last 5 starts, he's got a 2.08 ERA, 3.62 FIP. He's also pitching really well against left-handed bats. Phillies have, they usually start 5 lefties in it, including some of their most important pieces of their lineup are lefties. Phillies don't have the greatest numbers against right-handed pitching recently. 24th in WRC plus, 26th in isolated power. I think Kyle Hendricks pitches great. And then the Cubs have the bullpen advantage too. I'm Cubs all the way here. I think they have the advantage in every single aspect.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, unless like Harper comes out of his homerless streak and takes, goes yard and stuff like that, I just have a hard time believing the Cubs aren't in this game here. Just like you said, the Cubs full bullpen available for the Cubs. The Phillies, I mean, I guess they're all available, but the one thing that I do like for the Cubs is that they've been scoring runs over the last 10 games. They've seen all those guys in the bullpen now over the last couple of days. Yeah, it's just, I can't really add much to what Kyle said. One thing is that the Taijuan Walker, the Cubs have already seen Taijuan Walker once this year too. So that gives me a little bit more, I guess, reason to back them or more reason to like
more
them.
More ammo.
More ammo. Yeah, there you go. More ammo. So it's really early here. So, but either way, it's really hard for me. I've lost with the Cubs the last 2 days. I'll put that out there, though. I bet against the Phillies the last 2 days and lost with them. So,
I was on the Phillies in the first game of the series, but I backed the Cubs with you last night. Going back to the Cubs, though. Last game, Rockies-Dodgers. Got my Rockies cash last night. That was dope. Yo, did you watch the end of that game, though? They were trying to blow it. They were... That dude, I don't know if you're familiar with Justin Lawrence. He's a reliever for the Rockies. Bro, scaring the shit out of me. But he did strike out the last guy. Oh, no, he struck out the guy in the 8th with the bases loaded. That was the big strikeout.
Yeah.
So I'll just put Dodgers -1.5 or -130 on the screen. I don't know if I'm actually going to bet it. This is just, I mean... I could literally just say, go look at Chase Anderson's recent numbers if you want to fade. I mean, me and Prop Beaver were laughing our asses off. I was trying to record. You could probably see me laughing in the final edit because like I had to 6-take that. We kept laughing, making fun of Chase Anderson's recent numbers. In his last 4 starts, he's got a 12.91 ERA, a 5.10 WOBA, 4.7 home runs per 9. Dude's giving up a home run every 4 at-bats. 2.35 whip, 991 FIP. Chase Anderson is the worst starting pitcher in baseball right now that is currently in an MLB rotation. So this is just a straight fade of him. Sheehan's looked dominant in his first 2 MLB starts. Does that mean I think he's going to be dominant in his first start here at Coors Field? I don't know. Not necessarily, but like I said, just a straight fade of Chase Anderson. I think the score is going to be like 22-2 after 5 innings. And then I'm hoping the Dodgers bullpen could hold it down.
Yeah, I'm on the Dodgers as well. I'd play a -1.5 as well. I really can't add much to that. That kid's pretty bad. I mean, I just don't know what else to say to all that. The Dodgers scored 8 runs yesterday and lost. If Colorado puts up another 10 runs on Sheehan,
they're going to need more than that. They're going to need more than that.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably true. So on top of all of that, like Kyle said, the Rockies played well last night. So Lawrence went 24 pitches, Johnson went 7, Bird went 27, Bard went 16. So now the Dodgers have fresh eyes on the full ammo that the Rockies have in that bullpen. So even more led to the Dodgers right there. Oh, and by the way, the Dodgers didn't use any of their closer by committee yesterday either. So everything points to the Dodgers here today.
And low-key, the Dodgers bullpen is back, too.
I've been telling people that.
No, I don't think you said it.
Probably not. You probably wouldn't give me credit for it if you wanted to. Brian, look at Brian Brazier. If they get something out of him, like he's pitched in a lot of big games for Boston. Like there's no situation that he's going to come into, and he's like the bottom of their list. So there's no situation that Brian Brazier is going to come into, and the moment's going to be too big for him. So if they get just a little bit out of him, I mean, they'll be all right. The Dodgers are going to be all right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they will be.
Can you imagine when it's Mookie, Freddie, Shohei? I mean, it's just gonna
he's going.
It's gonna be amazing.
He's going to the Mets, and then I'm gonna switch teams because I don't like him.
You'd be so lucky to have Shohei as the Mets. If you didn't get season tickets, I probably wouldn't even. I'd probably delete your phone number.
All right, so community parlay.
We'll go right off. By the way,
Padres. No, I really could write that off. Padres money line, Rangers money line, Guardians money line. Yeah, it's called market research. It's a write off. Yankees money line.
I wrote off everything for WBC.
Yep. All right, first leg of the parlay. In case you're new to the show, which I don't think anyone is, you vote on your favorite leg for the parlay. You already know. Looks like Pirates. Padres money line is off to an early lead. Oh no, here comes Cleveland. Cleveland takes the lead.
2 total bases that I did play: Soto over 1.5 at plus 115, and Verdugo over 1.5 at plus 125. I did want to play like a Trout over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, but it's minus 105, and that just kind of freaks me out a little bit. Like I was expecting to pay like minus 120. So, and then like Taylor Ward is minus 115 for that same number. So those are 2 guys I'd look at. Ohtani total bases if you want to. I just want to see some lineups. So if you want that type of stuff, just follow me on Twitter. I'm going to post my stuff as soon as I see a whole bunch of lineups. No, looks like no Corey Seager for the Rangers today. Just FYI for everybody.
Ooh, so no Corey Seager, and the pitcher changed to Cody Bradford. Couple reasons for the line movement there.
Yep.
So Rays money line, D-backs money line. Let's go Angels money line. Marlins or Red Sox? What do you think they would like more?
Red Sox, because we were both on them.
All right, Red Sox. I have a feeling that Angels money line will win that vote, though.
It's gone up a little bit. Like I got it at 130. It's at 135. So, I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it's at minus 135. So it looks like it dropped down and now has come back up, which is I like.
It's a good. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a good. I'll take that.
100%. Wow, this Angels are running away with this one.
That I won't take.
5, 4. I could cut this one off early. It's Angels in a blowout. Oh wait, no, never mind. Give another few seconds. Rays. Nope, it's Angels. Second, so it's right now we have Padres money line and Angels money line. Next leg. Oh, here comes Prop Beaver in the comments, thinking he's hilarious. Notice me and Toast working, Prop Beaver not working. This is what you want you guys to get a feel of the dynamic of how this works. Astros money line. Prop Beaver's at home playing Hogwarts Legacy on his Xbox 360. So next poll: Blue Jays money line, Mets money line, Astros money line, Phillies money line. I'm sorry, Guardians won the first poll, not Padres. Good call. Thank you in the comments.
I was wondering what he was talking about. I was like, what?
What I'm talking about is I've only had 1 cup of coffee and I need at least 1 or 2 more to really gather my thoughts.
Talking about betting the actual games, and I'm like, in my head, I was like, I don't understand how they have anything to do with each other. But good call.
Oh, wow. Mets money line running away with this one. Yeah, I fixed it. I'm sorry about that with the Guardians. It's early. The 4 p.m. shows are so much better. I feel like I have more time. And all right, so let's end this one. It's Mets. So it's Guardians, Angels, Mets. What odds are we at now for that?
345.
All right, so let's add one more. We'll go Dodgers money line. Dodgers money line is probably perfect, though. A heavy favorite. Juice it up a little more. Let's see some second places. Astros got second. So Astros money line. Rays got second. We'll go Rays money line. And Padres got second. So it's the Dodgers money line, and then the 3 second place finishes in the votes. I feel bad for his employees, says AJ Bascone.
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm looking at it.
In case you guys don't know, AJ Bascone is Prop Beaver. His real name is AJ Bascone.
Yeah.
I'll give you his address if he's giving you some bad bets.
We hold that in our pockets just in case.
So they asked how we feel about Shane Bieber over strikeouts. They might be asking Beaver in the comments because neither me or Toast really do strikeout props.
I haven't bet a strikeout prop in 3 years.
I mean, I've tailed a couple of prop Beavers, and they're fun.
Yeah,
they're fun.
Yeah. I have tailed Beaver. I've never sat down and been like, "Yep, I'm gonna bet strikeout prop."
It's not my thing either. And it looks like Dodgers money line is the winner. So where does that put us?
Dodgers. Action's screwing up every time I put a fourth one in. Hold on. There's gonna be a second now, but yeah. Padres, Cleveland, Dodgers, Angels.
No, Guardians, Angels, Mets, Dodgers.
549.
Plus 549. So there is the community.
Hold on, no, I fucked that up. Cleveland, Angels,
Mets,
Dodgers, Mets.
Yes.
Yeah, my action's all messed up. It won't let me take the Mets, so I don't know. Sorry. It won't let me push the button.
All right, so I'll open up FanDuel or something. Action Network.
I hate them.
I'm just joking. If you have, there's an Action Network rep watching. I'm a subscriber.
I'm not.
So
562. 562.
562. So Guardians money line, Angels money line, Mets money line, Dodgers money line plus 562. That is the community parlay. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back. Yo, tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow's the fun show. And Prop Beaver will return to the show. It'll be us two and Prop Beaver. So he'll be back. He'll back on the show thinking he's sweet, giving out his walk props.
I was just about to say that the strikeout. It's not that like I don't wouldn't play them. It's just that if your strikeout props are not as easy as people make it out to be. Like the people who are good at them, like Prop Beaver and stuff, they pay attention to those lines, see how they move and stuff like that. Just like me in total bases. But you have a niche for certain things, so that's just really hard to have a good eye for so many different things if you don't pay attention to it on a daily basis.
Right, you have to choose your battles because I would love to sit there and go through strikeout props. I just don't have time. All right, so everyone have a good day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Prop Beaver's working, so I'll be uploading a video tonight going through all the games. Prop Beaver, I'll see you in a couple hours.